There's less buzz today in our bee populations, and butterflies aren't in much better shape. With fewer insects pollinating flowering plants and food crops, we're in jeopardy of severely impacting our food supplies.
Mitch, I need 2 boxes of these state tomatoes.
Can I help anybody?
Every day's a bargain today.
If we don't have the bees, pretty soon you're not going to have any fruits and vegetables, future flowers, no seeds, nothing to continue on.
These are what pollinate. These are what are going to produce your fruit. These are what are going to produce your vegetables. See the little yellow balls on front of it? That's actually the pollen that the bees are picking up from the plants. You'll see they pack the pollen on. It actually sucks to their back legs. So they don't ingest it. It's just like a magnetic field that pulls the pollen onto them. Over the years, bees are becoming more and more difficult to keep healthy, and it's through a variety of problems. Some of it is pesticide related. They also now are getting what they call varroa mites. The varroa mite's like a flea on a pet, and it attaches to the bees and actually sucks the blood out of the bees. The more important thing to me with the bees is I need the pollination. Come January and February, when our blueberries are blooming, we have to have these bees to pollinate our blueberries or we'll get no crops.
And the more people that are aware and understand how this works and how they help with the production of our food and the assistance in our pollination, the better off they'll be. You'll see where pollen has been packed down in there. That's their food supply. It's what they use to feed the queen and the brood. The interesting thing about the bee is that despite its size, it has such an enormous impact on our ecosystem and on our agriculture as well as our food supply. What's been happening in the last 20 to 30 years is a decline in the population of bees. If we were to lose our bees, we would lose a lot of our crops. We would have to come up with alternative resources to be able to pollinate. Once people get an inside view of the wonderful and sweet world of bees, I think that it'll make them more aware and more apt to change the things that they're doing in their everyday lifestyle and everything that they're doing at their homestead on a daily basis to help sustain the world of bees in order that we may have a food supply.
I basically got a garden for the butterflies so that they can live and have nectar. And then they lay eggs on the milkweed plants that I have. And I started raising those butterflies and then decided, how do I get them to survive? I decided I'll do whatever I can to help them out. And all I can do is get to the butterfly. Once I release the butterfly, you know, he or she are on their own. This is the egg that's laid by the butterfly. It's very small and it's white. And inside there is the caterpillar. And within 4 to 5 days, that caterpillar will come out of that and start to eat the leaf. I take it off that leaf that I just showed you when it came out of the egg, and I move them on to fresh leaves so that they can grow. After about a week to 10 days, this is the size they usually get, and you can see they're still not really big. They're a ½ inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch. These two guys, probably within 2 weeks, will develop into a chrysalis. They're probably close to 2 weeks, maybe a touch more. When they get to the last part of being the larva, they will crawl up, and you see what they'll do is they'll just hang off there. They form the chrysalis, and between 4 and 7 days, out will pop a butterfly. It's both a purpose and a hobby. It makes you appreciate life a lot more.
There's a good analogy that insects in an ecosystem are like nuts and bolts in an airplane. You remove 1 or 2, the airplane can still fly, but at what point does that bolt come out where the entire airplane crashes? And that's essentially what we're facing with these species declines, is we don't know what that tipping point actually is. It's like with the decline of pollinators, we are having to now scramble about how do we recover that ecosystem service of pollination, which is instrumental to our economy, our well-being, our food security. And so as more and more of these species decline, we're in jeopardy of losing a lot of what makes these systems productive and functional over time. The monarch is a very historically common butterfly. It's kind of an iconic butterfly that everybody knows, and if that butterfly can become threatened, then it means that all these other species that we consider valuable and common that we see on a daily basis, well, maybe they're not far off. It's based on the numbers in the overwintering colonies in Mexico, so they've shown relatively steep declines over the past 10 years, and so that's an alarming signal to conservation biologists, because it means that if that trend continues, we could essentially lose the phenomenon of that massive annual migration. We're not going to lose the monarch as a species within the U.S., but we could really be in jeopardy of losing that really spectacular annual migration. Then we start losing kind of the functionality of these ecosystems as more and more species decline and potentially become extinct. We miss out on our natural heritage, our enjoyment, our spiritual well-being with these creatures, but more importantly is we start losing the functionality of the systems, and that includes both our wild systems and our agricultural system. We want to make sure that our systems are functional and that we are good caretakers for this environment that is so beneficial to the Florida economy, it's so beneficial to our livelihoods, it's so beneficial to our enjoyment.